Friday night's 35-0 win for Oregon over Purdue showed the huge gap between the best team in the Big Ten and the worst team in the Big Ten. It showed the huge gap between a team that's playing at the higher levels of what their program is capable of and another team that's playing at the lower levels of what their program is capable of. I'm a positive guy. Let's start with the positives. Let's start with the Oregon Ducks. I felt that this was an offense that was fairly conservative actually early on. It was fairly vanilla early on. But this was an offense that was jogging and not sprinting. This was an offense that just needed to do what they needed to do, get out healthy and move on. But even considering that they were jogging instead of sprinting in this game, they were getting open by a lot. Once again, it shows the gap between a explosive, great team like Oregon and a team that is really struggling like the Purdue Boilermakers. I was very impressed, and I continue to be impressed with Oregon's secondary. They are locked in. They cover better than almost maybe any team that I've seen play, not only in the Big Ten, but in all of college football. It is very difficult to get open against this team. It is very difficult to get big chunk plays in the passing game against this team. And that's where I want to kind of pivot with Purdue. Purdue has always been a team where you always seems, at least in recent history, right in this Jeff Brom era and now going into the Ryan Walters era, it always seemed like they had a big-time wide receiver that could be an 1,000-yard or one of the Big Ten's best wide receivers. Of course, Rondale Moore, you look at David Bell, you look at Charlie Jones that they had for a year, even Deion Burks last year. They don't have that guy this year. Purdue does not have that playmaker. Jamal Edrin hasn't been there. Jerron Tibbs hasn't really been there. And then when you're working with a backup quarterback that is more of a mobile threat running the football instead of a passing threat, you combine that with what Oregon has in the secondary, it was never going to go well. This is just tough to watch with what Ryan Walters has right now at Purdue. This is a Boilermakers program that I believe can be good, but the more I watch them, the sadder I get with the current state of this Purdue Boilermakers program. It's going to be a tough road ahead for them, but the road is looking pretty good, and Oregon is going very fast down their path right now. Follow for more great Big Ten content.